welcome to the APTA Grand Prix Tour presented by our national sponsors, Viking and Uline. We are live at the Philadelphia Cricket Club on the APTA network presented by eNet Live. I'm Jerry Viant along with Brad Easterbrook, and we're bringing you the men's quarterfinal between Johan de Randt and Stephen Mitchell. It's fun to say, not really fun for them, but it's the first time we're saying Johan's not seeded in this tournament.
Unseeded.
And Johan is the director of racket sports at the country club in Massachusetts, and Stephen is the director of tennis at BNC in Massachusetts, and they are playing against the number one seeds, one Arraya, who is the director of racket sports in the Greenwich Country Club, and Mark Parsons, who is the director of racket sports at the Siwanoy Country Club.
Now our players on the court, from the bottom here right, that's Stephen Mitchell in the gray cap and the black sweatshirt, and his partner Johan de Randt, who's in the white cap there with the gray sweatshirt. And then going over to the far side, we have Juan Arraya in the bright colored sneakers and the black compression calf leggings, and Mark Parsons in the white t-shirt with the sunglasses on over there. So this is a terrific matchup here. Why don't we take a look at how they got here?
Yeah, so here's the draw, and I think we're just recovering from that monster. It felt like a three-set match where Arraya Parsons had a war over Leprever and Watt, 6-1, 7-6.
Yeah, it felt like a three-setter. You're absolutely right. That second set had incredible shot-making, tense
and
moments.
de Randt and Mitchell actually did have a three-set match over Baxter and Held, and they kind of started out a little slow, but then quickly figured it out, and it was 2-love. And of course, de Randt, and what's interesting about this match is de Randt and Parsons have, they are national champions. They do have titles together, and when I said it was kind of fun, I meant we have such a new combination on both sides, and now this team is playing together for the, and they're now also against the opposite side of the net, so it's like, what are we going to see?
Yeah, so instead of de Randt and Parsons, it's de Randt versus Parsons.
That's right.
Right, so we got a totally different look out here. So what are we going to see is very important and gives us to our Viking keys to winning.
To the right of the chair in the deuce court from Stamford, Connecticut, is Juan Arraya. This partner from Weston, Connecticut, Mark Parsons. To the left of the chair in the deuce court from Wayland, Massachusetts, Johan de Randt, and his partner in the ad court, Stephen Mitchell from Natick, Massachusetts.
So umpire Mike Groff up in the chair. He will be calling the score and overruling if asked. So let's take a look at the Viking keys to winning.
Well, we have Mitchell's decisions in transition. So Stephen Mitchell's a new player, and we all know that Arraya and Parsons love to play in transition. They're one of the best teams in there. His ability to decide when to lob it or when to drive it back will be crucial, or when to even leave the net and go back, I think, in this match. And then we have de Randt's defense to one-up strategy. Basically, the strategy he basically pioneered with Mark Parsons.
I was just going to say, right? So he's taking a look at a mirror image, right?
Absolutely. He's going to see it against himself today, and will he try to overplay it, or does he think he can outduel, Arraya at the net? We'll have to see. And then the ability to handle the overhead. Mark Parsons in particular has a nasty roller into the deuce court. Arraya doesn't attack the deuce court as much, but we look for them to attack Stephen Mitchell's corner with that roller often. So they're going to have to handle it.
And Arraya Parsons going to be looking to hit the roller. Like we just said, he's looking to find Mitchell. They want to keep it away from de Randt and to keep de Randt at home. And that's a tall order because he does like to roam, but he's dangerous when he's moving.
Absolutely.
So you can see both teams have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing really is de Randt and Mitchell haven't played that much together yet. So this is going to be an experience for him. And Mitchell's one of his first times at this level in a big moment, even though he's got incredible racket skills.
And here's Mark Parsons serving. Right away, de Randt hits that little slider push overhead low in the screen.
Great cut overhead there by
30.
Randt.
So we expect to see Randt hitting most of the overheads.
And if that's going to be the case, we'll look to see if Mitchell and Randt actually switch at the net some of the time.
Love, 40.
You know, Mitchell is a very good tennis player. Played from Cape Town, South Africa. Played Alabama. Not,
15,
you know, like
40.
you said, they have played the last couple of years. I think Johan said he played a bunch 7 years ago, then didn't play, and then the last couple of years he's been playing some tournaments.
$30-40.
Like that early communication from Randt to his partner.
Of course, with the new partnership, Arraya is playing the deuce side. Arraya's in the blue.
Game.
It's a good start there for Mitchell Randt.
1 game to love, first set.
They're gonna feel it in. They came through that. I would say that match is tenser, even though Randt and Mitchell played a 3-setter. I'm sure it was less tense than that 6-1, 7-6 win that Parsons and Arraya had. I wonder if there's going to be any little hangover from match to match. We're only a half hour away from them just being off that court.
And here's Johan Randt serving. So Arraya, he likes to receive serve from the deuce side, which is unusual for an ad court player. He's been used to being over there because the angle is so different.
It's very different, but against most righties, the serve kicks up in there on the deuce side, so he likes to take it early and drive it, and you'll find them switching in the backcourt plenty throughout the match. So he'll be in the ad court playing the balance of some points throughout the whole match and the whole tournament.
Love.
Bit of a flat start right now.
There is a little bit of cloud
15.
cover, but the serving team is looking into the sun. You can see the shadow there on the court. Mark Parsons on the deuce side is known for his backhand drive.
Looking for Mitchell there at the net. They keep driving it at him. That's about 7 balls in a row that Parsons has hit at Mitchell. You haven't seen, this is his first overhead in about 10 balls for Randt.
And Randt's going at Parsons, hitting that little roller.
Oh.
40-15.
Now it's an interesting thing to try to isolate a player and play at them. There's 2 things. You might elicit errors, they might break down, but they also might get galvanized and sort of toughen up.
40-30.
Nice return by Arraya.
Made him flip to the forehand volley.
And there's the hold.
Game, Durrant,
They're
Mitchell.
up to a 2-love lead. Like you said,
first set.
Arraya Parsons have only been off the court like 45 minutes, so they need to kind of regroup.
And physiologically, even a little bit, you get all that adrenaline at the end of the other match, and it starts leaving your body. You got to ramp that back up again. It's not that easy to do. They look a little flat to me right now. Randt and Mitchell were off the court much longer time. They're trying to reset themselves a little bit, get themselves ready for action.
And also, they're looking at a new team. It's not business as usual, right?
It's never business as usual when it's Durrant versus Parsons.
30, love.
But, you know, it's not the same team where they know where they have to hit it. They know what the shot combinations are. They actually have to give a little more thought to what's going to go on here.
So far right now, you know, Mitchell's played solid. He's shown he's got a pretty good drive. He's been making all good choices. Not a lot of pressure yet from Arraya and Parsons.
Nice spike there.
Yep.
So that's Mitchell's in the ad
40,
side.
Love.
There's the first error there out of Mitchell.
And Arraya with a comfortable lead on his serve.
Game, Arraya Parsons.
There's a hold.
Randt, Mitchell lead 2-1, first set.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, Viking Athletics. Viking is the premier brand and the undisputed leader in platform tennis. Viking is platform tennis. The Viking Extra Duty Platform Ball has been the #1 selling ball in the industry for the last 20 years. It is the official ball of the APTA Nationals and President's Cup, and of the Grand Prix Tour. The official paddle of the APTA, engineered to provide superior feel and the perfect balance of power, control, spin, and durability. All right, Stephen Mitchell serving.
Oh, they got
up
Mitchell
2-1.
and Durrant with matching shirts today. Very good team unity. Oh, great move.
Nice
15,
play.
Love.
Durrant testing that Parsons backhand. I'm not sure that's a great idea over the long haul.
$30, Love.
Big serve.
Yep, nice kick on that.
30-15.
So you're going to see Durrant and Mitchell play a lot more serve and volley, a lot less serve and stay back. Although you see Mitchell staying back that time.
Yeah, he
30.
stayed back on Parsons. He's coming in Arraya. Let's see what happens on this one.
Ooh. Some
40,
good
30.
looks there from Parsons and Arraya, just not executing. All right, smart play there by Mitchell. They go through. He's not sure about the volley.
And then even smarter to lob it up because Johan was halfway in the court.
Deuce.
See, on that one there, that's a little team inexperience. I'd like to see Johan go cover that and Mitchell switch to the other side, but instead they run into each other.
Add out.
So Mitchell's got to come in square to the angle of the return. He's coming in square to the net, and Arraya's return is making his paddle go across his body, and he's volleying wide. So he's got to line his feet up.
Games
are face
2-all
the driver and
set.
angle his feet towards that. Absolutely, it's a great tip for everybody out there too. Yeah, and that game was Mitchell missing 3 first volleys, really. So we'll see if they continue with the standard serve and volley, because that's why people have abandoned it more so. Because of too many games like that where you miss 3 or 4 first volleys. Oh, what hands up there.
That sneaky little hold that one's got Arraya on his backhand. He really sets his paddle early, and then he can lob it out of there or flick it.
Yeah, he holds the ball amazingly. Just out on that volley.
But Mitchell's just off the net just a little bit, and he had to pop that ball up, and that's enough. Pop that volley long.
Oh,
30, love.
It's the first bad choice there from Mitchell, trying to put a ball right on the outside line. Generally don't want to try to drive it around somebody like that with such a thin margin for error. I would say 40, that's the second bad choice, trying to dive for a dipping volley there.
That's inexperience.
Yep.
Let those balls go through. It's so tough to let
40,
them go, though,
50.
when you're in the momentum of coming forward, and then you got your, your mind on hitting that volley. Yep. To let it go through. But it's never good to volley up off the net.
That's that experience that we talked about. Great rip there, though.
Wow.
He certainly can rip
40,
that forehand.
30.
Great shot there by Steve Mitchell.
Bounces right back from an error, which is a great sign.
Yep, I'm sure he's been through the wars, as many tough matches as he plays. He knows how to compete. This match has a feel of kind of feeling it out right now.
Yeah.
You almost would think you'd expect a little more razzle-dazzle, a little more balls flying through the center and attack, but right now they're dumping the ball down the middle. Arraya and Parsons staying under control. And I would think in this formation with Parsons in the ad and Arraya here in the deuce court in the back court, the middle's a relatively safe place. The Parsons forehand is not as good, and the Arraya backhand is not as good as his forehand. So.
Yeah, as long as they keep dumping it and don't give it too much speed, because when Arraya's got more choices, like off the back screen, he can hurt you with that backhand. But
game, Parsons, Arraya.
Well, they showed a lot of patience there in the back court.
Yep. Yeah, I wonder if they're trying to exercise the Johan Durant shot clock a little bit. They did there. You saw Johan try to put a little cut to that last, backhand volley there, make something happen. He didn't have to make an error there, but he went for it because the point was going on. He wanted to make something, create something.
Johan Durant serving at 2-3. First set, men's quarterfinal, the Philly Open.
Now, we have not seen Mitchell and Durant switch at the net to put Durant to the other side so he can get more spin overheads. They're content to let Mitchell work that part of the court. There, he thinks he's attacking the Parsons
15.
backhand, but it's a bad idea to try to go anywhere near the Parsons backhand.
Especially when you've come from the deuce side. So that ball that, puts your team in a shift, exposes the middle, and you have to flip over and hit a forehand volley.
All right, love 30, a fault, followed that up. Oh, and then that loose forehand volley there. Triple break for a 4-2 lead. Triple break point.
Game, Arraya Parsons. They lead 4 games
and Brad, I just want to give a shout out
set.
to the Philadelphia Cricket Club. They do run a fantastic tournament. Scott Falatek is the tournament director, and the director of rackets is Greg Bowser, and their whole team of volunteers. I mean, the players really enjoy it.
That's an incredible setting out here.
Yeah, that's a great shot of their new hut. They've got 4 courts, and it's set up to party. Yeah, you can jump up there and wave. We're behind there.
We're right behind the glass. Great play there by Mitchell, recognizing the ball going into the neck of the crease.
Brad, talk a little bit about that, because it's so tempting when like Johan Durrant is in the ad side and the ball goes in the nick. It's so important that they communicate, and that Durrant stood still.
Yeah.
So he didn't decide, maybe I can get it, and cause that hesitation. It was...
Ooh, a missed transition ball there from Arraya. But yeah, the ability to play the ball into the crease is crucial for a high-level team, because many balls go in there during the course of a match, and all those points are important. In fact, I think at the high levels, the first thing I look for, I say, is the ball going at the crease, in which case I'm going to look for help. And if it's not, then it's either a side back screen or a backside screen, and you should be able to get it.
Huge hit there from Durrant for a break point. He just
Durrant
on
Mitchell.
The net, took away time.
Parsons lead.
Yeah, when we talk about transition game as being an important part, in that case, I would say that Arraya and Parsons failed in the transition. A little missed drive back, and in there he didn't know where his opponent was. Durrant's right on the net, and you have Durrant stuffing that ball back at Parsons. Probably should have let it go to the screen, but tough in that situation. Couldn't let it go.
And there's the new balls being put into play every 7 games.
Jerry, I think that is so necessary. You know, without it, with the spin these players put on it, with the amount, some of these points, you know, the length of these points, the ball is almost destroyed after about 7 games.
And it does affect the flight of the ball. When the flocking is not on there, it doesn't hold as well. It doesn't fly. It is a difference. Smart volley.
Love 15.
See, right now, Arraya Parsons playing steady, playing under control. They're waiting for a couple of mistakes, you know, from Durrant and Mitchell. And the mistakes have been sort of twofold at this point in time. You know, Mitchell's playing like these are all perfect overheads he's playing, and then eventually he makes a wrong one or a wrong choice as to where to put it. And Durrant's just kind of tried too many, you know, for too much on certain balls.
Look at the patience from Arraya in that deuce court.
It's a very different game than what we saw in the last. Very controlled.
There's that little backhand that he's got.
15-all.
That I'm not sure I understand. He probably wants that back. He's not dipping the ball lower than the net. He should let it go, let his partner get that one off the screen. It's a little bit like you said, they don't know fully what to expect out of Mitchell.
Right.
Maybe Arraya thought he could do that and that would be good enough, but it's not.
Oh, there it is.
15-30.
He holds that ball and
get that one on a
snaps
replay.
It cross court.
That would be fabulous. I mean, he just holds it the last minute, and like, he could go down the line. He can lob it. It's dangerous.
I would say his ability to hold the ball is
30-all.
basically the tops in the game.
Yeah,
Certainly
I
right
agree.
there.
And generate such pace from just a flick.
Great lead
40,
there by
30.
Mitchell. Oh, great get. Way to get out of the way. ball's lower than the net. If somebody drives it at you, let it go.
See if we can take a look at that. Nope.
All right,
we're going to bring you that replay when we have a little bit more time, but we haven't.
All right.
Nice volley.
Great volley there from Mitchell. Redirects it right at the crease. Arraya can't dig it out. So we have another quarterfinal going out as well. 3 seeds, Sven Burish and Roman Stojisavljevic, are getting out there against Sebastian Bredberg and Nathan Lefebvre.
Oh.
Smart choice for the Mitchell to stay back, but then
30,
the reaching ball, he's got to let that ball go through.
Does have to let it go, or he's got to get tighter to the net. You either are right up there and taking it right off the net, or you let it go. You don't want to reach for that one from farther off. It's like you said, he's committed to a play, and instead of letting it go or adjusting in the middle of it, he's already committed, and he's going to take it no matter what.
But Mitchell's not going into net just because he hits a big, huge forehand through,
40,
because
30.
he's got Parsons' backhand, which will catch him in transition. So it was smart that he stayed back, but then when he took off, like you said, it was too far off the net for that volley.
Deuce.
So deuce, 4-all. First set.
One of our keys to winnings was Mitchell's, their ability to sort of attack Mitchell's, deuce court, but he's shown he has a big forehand, so you got to be careful in there. So you haven't seen him go after him in there.
Break point here.
What a volley.
Deuce.
Wow, some really good volleys. Yes, he's Johan saying lob that ball to himself, and he knows it.
He came back too quick and deep to try to drive it.
Yep. Sometimes I feel you get caught up in the moment. It's a quick exchange. He was trying to beat Parsons there. He wasn't able to, and so instead of resetting it, he's like, I'm going to beat him with this one, and it's just the wrong choice.
You can hear Randt calling Mitchell on those middle balls when they go into the screen when he wants to take it.
Wow. Spins them around.
Add in.
What a volley. Talk about it all the time. Parsons, underrated volleyer.
Yes.
There's someone's car alarm going off in the parking lot. You may be able to pick that up. Is that you, Brad?
I don't think it's me. There's nothing worth it to steal in there anyway, so.
There's a great crowd gathered here at the Philadelphia Cricket Club. All right, add out.
Deuce.
And the reaching volley?
It was a little better because it was at least above the level of the net.
It was higher than the net, so at least by going for it, you have a possibility of making a good shot, whereas below the net, you have no possibility of making a good shot. But it's still an error, and it's still a general mistake.
That's the old line. It's not what you can reach. It's what's yours.
Right. All right.
Add in.
Part of our team, Timo Arraya is going to be getting us scores from some of the other quarterfinals that are going on out there.
It's our roving reporter.
Roving. And if you've never seen one of Timo's player interviews, you gotta check them out. They are filled with probing questions and incredible cuteness.
Some controversial questions in there that made the players pause.
Wow, what a move by Randt. Uses that extendo arm. We can get a replay of that too. It'd be amazing.
Right. We're going to grab that replay too. Our highlight reel is going to be full.
What a get.
Oh!
Sitting here clapping from my seat. He read all
grab that one as well.
Dug it out. And then Arraya went for him on a ball lower than the net. Look at that.
Game.
Yeah, that score's a little wrong there. It's game for that was break point for Randt and Mitchell after that incredible point. So they win. They're up 5-4.
Huge game. All right, let's take a look at this replay. We got a lot of.
Here's Randt stretching.
Oh, he's that little dink shot.
And I love that emotion out of Randt. That's awesome.
That's that fast feet, slow hands. He, chased it, and it was calm enough to just hit the little dink.
His body control, though, is incredible.
Here we go.
There's another his movements.
Now, if that ball had hit him, he would have lost the point, even though he was off the court. And here's replay number 3. Oh, no, we're back live now.
We're back live. All right, serving for the first set. Mitchell Randt. Got Randt serving. Mitchell hitting that volley there. Maybe afterwards they'll change shirts so they're easier to tell apart, but we'll see. This warm weather, it's not easy to hit the drop.
15.
The ball just sits up too much. I mean, it's a cooler day, but it's still not cold enough for a drop.
Serve was long.
30.
2 quick ones. You know, we always say serving for the set as if it's an advantage to be the server, and it's really not.
No.
Oh, Arraya moving those over, lobs around, holding the paddle. Love it. Like Arraya probing for a spot to get a little confusion out of Mitchell and Randt up there. Looking for that opportunity. Mitchell staying solid, just keeps pushing the overheads in the right spot. We talked about finding the middle of the court, keeping it away from the Parsons backhand, the Arraya forehand.
Now they've switched sides. Randt switched on that with Mitchell. Mitchell was doing a great job of letting that ball drop low so that he could push it back deep in the court and keep it low.
And also keep it low,
yeah,
right.
Not so letting them step in and attack.
15,
so many times
40.
Players want to hit the big shots, the rollers and the cuts, but if you don't have that placement push overhead.
Yeah, it's where the ball ends up. You know, if it ends up getting higher than the net, you're always in a little bit of danger.
That's a great angle to show Mitchell. See how he sets his paddle. It's no higher than his ear, his right ear. And then he lets the ball come down to the paddle. He doesn't take the paddle up to the ball. That's one of the big differences with the transition from tennis to paddle. Trying to place those deep balls. When he's bowled deep in the court especially, he's trying to place it so he doesn't get his team in trouble.
Oh.
So scary. There's not too much court over
Arraya
there.
Parsons.
No, you just try
Games
to find
are
that
5-all,
little
first
space.
set.
And like you said, when you take that kind of risk, you're going to miss a few.
5-all, Arraya serving.
We're seeing Arraya start to use a little of that cutter overhead in there and kills it.
15 love.
See how he does that? He cuts around the outside of the ball, creates an elliptical spin that when it hits the screen, it bites and falls straight down.
What grip's he got on that shot, Brad?
You know, he's got a continental or even in what we call an eastern backhand. He's getting further over than a continental, and that closes the face, allows him to carve around the outside or even underneath the ball.
40 love.
Arraya, again, another quick service game. He's up 40 love. Not long points when he's serving.
Oh, if Parsons teed off on that
40-15.
You know, when you're going to hit a shot that hard, you got to frame the other guy's body, because I think that's the purpose of it, to try to make the guy volley. If it's not there, it's probably going to go out.
Now you see testing the screenplay of Mitchell, combination of different spin overheads.
Nicely done by Mitchell. There we go.
No.
See, that's it. He's up to the task. He takes the screen drive at the right time, and then he anticipates when they're going to the screen, and he's got that high forehand. I love it. He's showing you can't put the ball there. Switch at the net from Randt. Great touch on that volley.
Caught the back of the line.
Deuce.
Wow, what a shot.
Yeah,
I think
that
had
broke.
heavy spin and it hit the seam, and it shot directly right before Arraya could even move an inch.
Nice cover there.
Oh, yes. Mitchell, and Arraya misses the cutter.
And out.
Great get. I mean, Mitchell did a great job digging there, because I actually think Randt should have covered behind him on the ball. But he had to do all the heavy lifting there himself. Well done.
Just wide.
Game, Durant.
Wow, that
Mitchell.
was a big game.
Well, Mitchell's shown, you know, he's got a great forehand. You know, you cannot just put that ball in there to that due side. He can hit any high forehand. He's only taking the high forehands, making good choices all across the board.
And he's can handle the spin. He's shown us that he's got the spin in the screen. And his composure. I'm impressed by his composure.
Yep, it's great. And I feel almost like Arraya and Parsons aren't sure where to go, what to attack or where to go. You know, we were seeing in the last match, constant attacking overheads, pressure.
All right, let's watch at his flight path to the net now, Mitchell.
Angle himself in to face that volley.
Love, 15.
He's been staying back on the Parsons return.
Directing him to the left. You see Johan looking to cut. All right. Johan invented those net exchanges or the quickness up there and using your athleticism to shut down or attack a point.
Love, 30.
It's just a little bit off the net.
Yep,
Like he's not expecting Parsons to rip that backhand.
Well, that's what I'm going to question most of all. Why would you be hitting a ball that's going high up to Parsons' backhand?
40.
So just trading breaks here, although it's not over yet. Wow.
15, 40.
Phenomenal flick volley by Johan. Makes it look easy.
Yeah, and then Parsons thought he'd try his own, but comes up short.
Smart play by Randt here. Take away that return from Arraya.
Good look, though, from Mitchell. I still like the play,
Arraya,
like
Parsons,
you said,
games
Jerry.
are 6-all.
All right, we're heading to a tiebreaker.
First 1-7 wins by 2. Mr. Parsons to serve.
He knows where that ball's going. It's popping up. He hasn't missed a high forehand yet.
You've got those safe, well-placed overheads.
Yeah, like we said, in this formation, the middle of the court is incredibly safe. And you can, it seems as if Randt and Mitchell know that. They're safely just pushing the ball down the middle.
Randt,
I wouldn't
Mitchell,
mind seeing Arraya
1-0.
and Parsons switch a little in the backcourt after the return. All right, we got Burish and Stojsavljevic up 2-1 in the first set against Bredberg and Lefebvre in one of the other quarterfinals. Got another quarterfinal warming up as well.
1-all.
That's a good shot.
Timely.
Arraya, Parsons, 2-1.
Parsons stays back in anticipation.
There's that transition game that we talked about. Mitchell's laser beam on that high forehand. Ball lower than the net.
Arraya,
Bad
Parsons,
choice there in
3-1.
transition.
Arraya, Parsons, 3-1.
Arraya, Parsons, 4-1.
Interesting there. You see that? So as soon as Arraya's serve was in, Parsons backed up from the net.
Right.
Like before he even knew where the return was going almost.
I mean, that's a practice move. They've done it many times before. They're ending up in the one up, one back, sort of an I formation there, and easily done. Parsons immediately goes back. Arraya makes the first volley. They're very comfortable with that position. They're going to work the middle here, Mitchell. Sneak it over there, but make sure. Give too many forehands to Arraya or too many backhands to Parsons.
You know, Arraya and Parsons are showing a willingness and a patience from the backcourt.
Oh, they're playing very patient, not dynamic at all, what you're used to seeing for them. A lot of quick forays in. And I think that's the respect you have to give a guy like Randt. And Mitchell's shown he's no slouch out there. He's a very good player. So the Durant's hands are so good you can't just sort of willy-nilly decide you're going to attack. You have to have the right ball. actually just said willy-nilly. I apologize to all the live stream audience.
Arraya Parsons, 4-2.
Kind of a cuteness to it.
Thank you. At my age,
A charm.
I'll take that. A charm?
A charm.
Perfect. Perfect. What a great volley there. Good volley positioning by Mitchell. He moves over when the ball tracks wide.
You see Randt looking to cut that ball off.
Nice blitz there, though, by Arraya. So there's the danger. It's right in.
Wow.
Went crazy.
Parsons,
There's one too many. He played a great point, but then you got to dial it back and say, that's enough. High lob, reset the point.
And you see Randt jumped in front of Mitchell there to keep that volley hit above the level of the net, because Mitchell was just that one step back. And
yeah, that's the thing that Randt can do for you. You know, we've seen Mitchell make a volley or two off the net a little bit. And but if Randt can get up there, yep, there's another one.
Arraya Parsons, 5-3.
Right at the right hip as he's coming in. Parsons' backhand is like a laser beam.
He's so accurate and so varied with the way he can hit it. With topspin, flat, the works. All right, it's 2-all with Boris and Stojsavljevic against Redberg and Fair. Our 3rd seed and our 5 seed.
Arraya Parsons, 5-4.
It's all over that Arraya.
That sun is just coming out from behind the clouds there, and it's...
We were talking about it before, Jerry. It's a stark difference from cloudy to how bright it is. It is a bright, low sun day out there. It's actually stunningly beautiful. Good choice there by Arraya. Oh!
5-all.
Durant's showing the courtesy sign, which is just courtesy. People always say don't apologize, but I think it's courtesy.
Absolutely. Tradition of the sport.
Yeah.
Five-all tiebreak. First set, men's quarterfinals. We're here live at the Philadelphia Cricket Club.
Oh, just did not read that one.
Arraya
that's
Parsons,
the variety that
6-5.
Arraya has. He thought that ball was going to bounce back and in, but it kept moving to the side on a curve. What a shot for set point now for Arraya and Parsons. Get a replay of that, maybe. Comes again. Missed it. Covered the crease, but a great overhead roller from Parsons seals the first set.
That was a solid, unbelievable points in that first set. I didn't know how Mitchell was going to show up. I've actually never seen him play, so from the word on the street, he's really, really raised his level of play and handled the screens and the spins and the occasion. And just a couple of little volleying. They'll tighten up on the volley.
Positioning at
right
the
there.
net, facing the returner as it comes in.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a moment after these messages right here on the APTA network, presented by eNet Live.
When it's your job to protect the world's greatest nation, it's your responsibility to solve the world's greatest challenges. This is why we search for the best and brightest, why we train for every eventuality, on land, and water, in the air, space, and even cyberspace. We operate in a complex world with one simple mission: win.
All right, we're back here at the Philadelphia Cricket Club.
Yes, you did.
First set.
Their serve, and we switch.
Just hear the umpire.
You started on the
Yeah, I think
right.
Parsons is questioning who started the tiebreaker.
That is correct.
Right. Where they?
So they got to go to the right side,
Guys,
the
switch.
proper sides, and have the proper team serving to start. So
Randt Mitchell to serve.
Wants to make sure he's not looking into the sun if he doesn't have to.
I think he was just being a stickler for the rules. Want to make sure he was in the right spot.
So not much in that first set.
Well, by not much, do you mean like there wasn't that like razzle-dazzle dynamic play?
No,
or?
I meant there was not much that separated the two teams.
Oh,
I mean,
no,
it was,
absolutely.
You know.
No. Clearly, Mitchell's got a big forehand. He takes the right high forehand. He makes it all the time, hard and flat. You know, it's really like a lot of close sets, separated by a couple of volley errors here or there, one choice here or there. You know, but absolutely, it could have gone either way.
And I think both teams, to your point, you know, are just searching each other out, trying to find where the combinations are.
You know, funny enough, I wouldn't say like, well, what a sneaky little shot there, Mitchell. But you know, we talked about the transition game a little. I wouldn't say that was defining in the game. It was actually a lot more traditional paddle points. You know, dumping the ball down the middle, steady, solid, and then a little razzle-dazzle, you know, in between. Maybe only one cut winner from Arraya, where we saw 10 last time.
There was a willingness to hang in the point long.
Right.
15, Love.
Too tough a spot there. Got to get it within the confines of the body, not outside. They hit.
30, Love. Love.
Well, he giveth and he taketh away sometimes.
Game to Randt Mitchell. They lead one game to Love.
Start there, but
in the second set.
You see Arraya wears his emotions on his sleeve. There's no second guessing here.
Yeah. Do you think it's a cause for concern, or do you think it's been an issue for him? Or is it not that he wears them on his sleeve, but that he doesn't control them?
Yeah, I mean, it's the mental part is such a huge part of the game at this level. And you can always tell his body language changes completely. And so that changes your ideal performance state inside. So he puts himself on a roller coaster ride.
I mean, I agree with you. There's no one that I've seen ride waves from complete dominance and incredible play to, like, you know, just abject disgust or
15 Love,
bad errors. But but that's why he's such a tough front runner from times. He can really roll.
all.
Bad stretch here. Great hands. Well done there by Mitchell. Great play.
going after his corner again.
They're working him. And he's again crushing the forehand.
15,
Right,
30.
too much pace too high off the screen and gave Mitchell a chance to attack off that back screen.
But they're trying to find a way to get him out of position, and he just is not. You know, he's staying under control. Oh.
It's a little quick.
30 all.
So Brad,
Stay
let's
with it.
talk about the level of talent that's on the men's tour now. They're all 4 rackets professionals. All 4 came on a tennis scholarship.
No, absolutely. The way the game has changed now is talking about this off air with a number of people. You know, these guys are all around athletes with, you know, diverse skill sets, and it's, you know, the basics of paddle remain the same.
Right.
You know, but it's changed the way it approaches. All these new formations are because of the athleticism, they're because of the spin, and because of what's going on out there. And it's something that we'll see, you know, more and more, that without the ability to have these extra skill sets, it's hard to advance beyond a quarterfinal and get there to the end. You know, only the players who are developing the extra bits, you know, a few cut overheads, specialty attack overheads, new formations, are able to make it through there. You can't survive with just like a one-trick pony.
And they're all teaching professionals that have then transitioned from tennis into the world of platform tennis.
Yep. That's a part of their season for these guys too. You know, half the year they're doing tennis, the other half the year they're doing paddle, and probably a little bit of tennis.
That's why we've seen the explosion in certified, pros being certified.
Now you'll see when they're in this formation, now you see Arraya in the ad court and Parsons in the back court in the white there, hitting that forehand. Now you're going to see Parsons move to the side screen to get his backhand towards the middle so he can hit that more often. The middle's a more dangerous place now for Mitchell and Randt to hit the ball. So now they're going to start going to the sides a little bit. See, now you can see Arraya looking at the forehand, and that's why it's dangerous in the middle.
Game, Arraya Parsons.
Great job.
And he goes right to the right hip of Mitchell.
Second set.
And he stuck that quick with that racket.
All right, 1-all, second set, men's quarterfinals.
Love 15.
I wonder if that hit the top of the net.
It did.
Just seemed to lose it.
Yeah, I think it did. It kind of it jumped.
Now we're starting to get some shadows creeping in on the court, and you can see the angle of the shadows in there. That means that for the team on the other side of the net, they'll be looking straight up into the sun, you know, on a cross-court overhead. I wonder if that will have any effect down the road. Haven't seen any of it yet.
15-all.
Again, look at the feet.
15, 30.
Mitchell's not square to where that ball's coming at him.
And by square, you mean perpendicular to the exact angle that it's coming from.
Right, as if
not even he's got to be straight
30,
on at the net.
right.
He's got to be facing where the drive's coming from.
As if
in that
you're
way.
skiing. You got skis on, line it up.
Yep.
Because he's having to swing his paddle across his body, and there's too much heat on that return to be able to keep the ball in. So when you're square, your hands can be quiet. I love his little push overhead though. Oh!
You know, it's not fancy, but it's doing the job. And the primary job, we all know, is to hit an overhead your opponents can't really attack. That's the primary job of an overhead, and allow you time to get back in position at the net. So it is doing that, but it's not exactly flashy, but it does not matter. There's an angry
40,
Parsons
30.
there, Taken out on the screen.
Well, there was 3 or 4 spin overheads that Randt laid in there.
Great hold. Didn't handle that spin. Great shot. That's been the most effective overhead I've seen him use against Mitchell so far. That one that cuts right into his body.
It's jumping up at him.
Opportunities to hit a little bit more of that. If he gets that ball going up into the side, Mitchell can hit that forehand. Forehand volley there.
Boris and Stojanovic are up 3-2 in the first set against Redberg and Lefevre.
It seems like it was 20 minutes ago when he gave us another score, so they must be playing some really long points out there. The last one we got was 2-all, so.
I agree with this call. I agree with this call.
A little confusion here. I think I missed something there, Jerry. Did
the ball? One is saying Arraya was saying the ball was wide, but there was, I guess, the umpire didn't hear.
He's saying he made a call prior to the ball before?
No, he made the call right away, and I concur.
Yep.
Okay.
Heard the umpire say, yeah.
Gotcha.
I guess
he thought it was
Randt
a delayed
Mitchell
call,
didn't
or
hear it.
Right.
Arraya Parsons lead 2-1. Second set.
Got it. Nice job by the umpire.
And so look how the shadows on the court. I mean, it is.
No, it's coming.
It's hard light to play in. It's in and out of shadows.
Yeah, Durant's, I think, still got a question here about this call.
Either one is fine. It's still in play. The ball is in play. Just to be clear verbal or a point out like that's a call.
Okay,
and one saying it's hard to believe you don't hear one, right? Arraya.
That's a fair point, Jerry. That's a fair point.
He's not known for his whispering, is he?
No, not at all.
I don't know about you, Brad, but I can feel a little bit of tension.
Yeah, I think so. I think, Randt would want to win this match here, get back out there, have a new partner, a new lease on this, for sure.
Saw the emotion from Parsons when he missed that screen.
I think this match means something, too. In a weird way, I'm not sure. I don't know what it means to Randt and Mitchell. Yeah, I really don't. But I think, so far the season hasn't been the greatest success yet. So early in the season, it's hard to say anything about it yet. But for Parsons, and Arraya, I think they're looking for, some good results. I think they're going to give it everything they got here. They got a strategy out here. Yeah, there is a little tension out there for sure. These guys are all great competitors. They're all good friends too, but.
Every point is contested.
Yeah, I have to say I didn't expect this level of sort of like more traditional paddle, if you say. Expected to see a lot of the one-up, one-back, a lot of the I formation. I get the feeling like Arraya and Parsons don't want to mix that up with Randt that much. So they're content to play like a standard game.
Conservative.
Yeah. And then see if they can make a, maybe get Durant's shot clock to go off, make a silly mistake,
15-all.
But right now it's just been an even up battle, back and forth.
15-30.
Great volley there. Mitchell.
Stuck that volley straight down.
Yep. Switch at the net, great overhead.
30-all.
See, the kick on that serve brought Mitchell all the way over to the ad side to receive serve. And that
40,
seamless
30.
play with the partner just switched to the other side.
It's a very common move. There's so many guys with explosive spin serves, especially righties down the tee, you know, on the deuce side, that it's a play that gets used all the time. Parsons rarely breaks that serve out. He tends to be a soft server and stay back, but every now and then he does throw it in.
Deuce.
Gotta let that one go on the screen. Tough to half volley a ball from way back there.
A lot of spin on that shot.
Oh, there's Arraya's incredible volleys and hands at the net. Got Mitchell hitting an average ball and gets the stuff behind him. A couple of little errors here for Mitchell now.
3-all on that other court. You're right. The points must be just going on
Endless.
forever.
Yeah, they just got to be really, really digging it out over there. Warm day.
Game.
Makes up their
Arraya
mind. They're
Parsons,
not going to miss.
They lead 3-1.
Go.
Second set.
And you know, we saw from last year, Boris and Stojsavljevic, they were a great campaign. You know,
15
going
love
10 in the country, but the biggest thing was, you know, their ability to find the right level of where to play, how fast to play. See how it works for them this year. All right, great hold there by Ryan Parsons.
Love.
Yeah, ball under the net, high risk shot. Gonna miss a few. There's that seamless switch again.
Arraya losing a little patience there.
Yeah, tries for the old cutter. I think Drew
hit that
Broderick
shot.
kind of made popular.
But you really want to have your feet under you, balanced, leaning into it when you hit that shot.
40-15.
You saw.
Kind of like cuts it.
Yep. Randt trying to actually hit Arraya there with a quick one at the body, missed it. Let that go through.
40-30.
There he goes again. Do not reach for those balls. That's a little bit of inexperience, staying quiet.
Right.
I like what he did there. He got a little lower to the net. He's a bit of a straight-up volleyer. I always like it. People to get down a little bit. It helps you not reach for the ball.
And the umpire is he's waving in the wind there with Parsons slammed into that side screen. Hope he's got a seatbelt on.
Oh, that's a heck of a lob from there. And we're getting the heat up a little. That was out.
Game.
Okay.
Durant Mitchell. Arraya Parsons lead 3-2.
Good hold.
Second set.
So it's a quick kind of game there from Arraya.
Yeah, well, they do go in these spurts from time to time, but overall,
He's
a lot of
being patient.
patience and a lot of discipline
Yeah.
in this match here. They definitely are approaching this with an idea. They're not going to go full eye, full formation. They're not slamming the ball into the screens. They are playing solid. They're not. It's not a lot of crazy transition back and forth. I mean, it's happening from time to time, of course, but they're playing this fairly what I would call straight up.
I think some of Jeff Morneau's Patience is rubbing off on him.
Oh, what a great touch volley there by those guys.
Yeah, how do you get that ball around Randt at net?
Incredible touch. Oh.
15 love.
Surely a couple of errors are creeping in to Mitchell's. I can't say he's like playing badly or making bad jokes, but they're creeping in. Little decision here, little decision there.
15 all.
And the sun is blinding now. It's come out from underneath the cloud and it's directly into the server. His face there.
30-15.
Yeah, that's 2 missed drives. A little practice swing there from Mitchell. Pat Parsons high lob. Good time for a third wire smash.
Really does create a lot of movement when you hit that overhead. Hits the third panel, comes right out, pulls the ad court player out of the corner.
So solid, hard to gain an advantage, get the players out of position in the backcourt. There's one, but what a heck of a backhand overhead there. You would think maybe Arraya gets an opportunity there, but no. Oh, no. Such touch. Heck of a point up there. Oh, 40, beautiful. 15. I'd say their position has to be over more there, Gary.
I mean, the ball was in the middle, but when it's coming out of that ad side player, you can't expose your right hip.
Can't give him that part.
Right.
You got to be on the line there.
Get all the way over.
See, that little subtle things, those are going to be the differences in this match. It's so tight in every other respect. That was a great point.
Game.
Finishes
Arraya
with an error like that. So
4 games to 2.
That game there, we have 2 missed drives and a missed volley. It's hard to even quantify them because that last point went so long, but that's what it comes down to. Whether it was 20 balls later or 50 balls later, you can't afford that one miss there, right?
And that came from a positioning error.
Absolutely. Oh, what a shot.
Took about court awareness.
Yeah, they're going to bail on that one, leave the net wisely. So much paddles looking for an advantage, and when you don't have it, make sure they can't target you, get the ball back up, get back in position. Like that shot, speaking of targeting someone. Great point, little intensity ratcheting up here. Durant and Mitchell are Getting to the later stages here where they're going to have to make a move. All right,
30
a
love.
little too cute there with the backhand hold. Got him there.
30-15.
You got caught in transition. Tough play there.
30-15.
Mitchell, you gotta hold your line there. And again, if you don't have the advantage, lob it up and retreat.
$40-15.
All right,
game,
good hold there
Randt
from
Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Arraya Parsons lead, 4-3, second set.
Yeah, sun is definitely going to play a factor here, Jerry, as we get into the later stages. Very low from us here in the booth. I mean, it is blinding
no, we're
me.
looking straight into
you
it
seem
from
comfortably
this end.
behind this beam that's blocking the sun, but it is a real low sun tough in there. You get that view of the court. You can see the glare off the surface there. Yeah. Any ball hit on that angle along there is going to be, the opponent's going to be looking right into the sun to hit that lob.
Yeah, last game.
You know, now there are things the teams can do to avoid that. They can hit to the other side of the court or change the angle which your opponents hit it, but any opportunity you get, make guys take a look up there.
That's why you'll see it sometimes the serve and stay back intentionally, so they're not the server's not looking into the sun.
Sure. Ooh,
15 love.
Lower than the net look. Can't pull it off. It's a dangerous thing against Arraya. Not a percentage play, I don't think.
15-0.
Great spot by Randt. Catches Arraya. Move down the line with that wide serve. Now, once Arraya noticed that Parsons was not striking that ball back there, he's got to get out of the net sooner. Hanging in there a little bit. 15-30, a little bit of a window here. It's a big point.
15-40.
Stab volley, a little negative body language. All right, here's a chance for a move here to get that break a serve back for Randt Mitchell. That's a great cutter. It's so quick reading that ball. Players have gotten really good at reading that spin. Years ago, that would have been a winner. What a shot. Yep. I think that must have hit. I don't know what that hit. Incredible shot. All right, 30-40. Great volley by Arraya there. Creative work there. Great job on Mitchell. Ah, pulled the trigger on a ball he's not ready for. Huge point, back to deuce.
Huge overhead by Arraya there.
Yep.
Nice deep spin.
Pushes it up
leaning
into
backwards.
his body. Yep. Sometimes I wonder if you have too much talent, it's hard to control it all. Durant's certainly one of those guys. Oh!
Add in.
They lose this break here. I think it's not an easy thing. It's a good opportunity game. That was a loose ball there.
Deuce.
It's that risk of the drive-by volley. Your reach is out of your space that you can control it. Back to deuce. Mitchell right on top of the net. That's just so good. He just sets his paddle and waits.
I gotta think Mitchell was, the sun got him there. He looked like he didn't see it at all. It's a great shot. Oh, how about that?
Deuce.
If you drive it, you deserve it. That's how it goes with elect chords. Transition game here. Oh, tricky little lob.
Add out.
All right, break point here. What I like about Mitchell is he doesn't go into a shell. Like if he sees a drive, he'll still go for it. Right. Some guys clam up, they don't miss, but they don't hit either. He's not afraid. It's a good thing.
No, he moves on.
Deuce.
Wow, it's so we got
so hard to hit that drive when you're leaning away. Going to be leaning into the ball.
Oh, he went big.
Add in.
Big return, big volley. And he misses with the air.
Oh, Parsons serving volley.
Yeah, he'll mix it in. Oh. Ah, Mitchell.
Huge hold.
Game, Arraya
Parsons are up 5-3.
5 games to 3.
Having won the first set 7-6.
Excuse me, new ball, new ball.
And Brad,
new ball.
if this match ends soon, we're going to switch over to the other men's quarterfinal, which I believe we just got an update on the score. Did you get that?
Yeah, it was 5 games all. Boris and Stojsavljevic against Bredberg and Lefebvre, but I see them switching sides now over there. So, but we don't know who won that game. But they're getting the latter stages, and they are playing some long points over there for sure. That set's got to be an hour, I'm sure.
Durant serving with a new ball.
3-5, and that's got to be a killer. And right now, this is where you smell a little blood, and you see
Love 15.
It leaked off. They had those 2 break points, and then it's just a few errors, a loose point, get it back, and they got to clamp it down right now, or it's over.
Love 30.
All right, it's taking a little minute here, which is good. You gotta get this thing down. He's just serving on the hard sun side. I just got a score update that Boris and Stojsavljevic are up 6-5. What a shot!
All
right.
That's a forehand volley you were talking about from
forehand
Mark
roller
Parsons.
volley.
Routine.
Routine forehand volley, triple match point. That's it. It's so strange. We played this match that's so tight all the way through, Jerry.
Yeah.
They get their opportunity to break it back, and then it all unravels like that. I guess, you know, you can say inexperience, you can say what you want, but the errors definitely crept in these moments. So, interesting performance and very workmanlike, very more traditional.
It was. I mean, it was. They had a willingness to stay in the point, just to wait and to lob and to move the ball around. It wasn't quite what we expected with
Not
the
at all.
result, but when they needed it, they took the shots, and kudos to Mitchell. He held in there. I mean,
He
took
hung
the
in
pressure,
there,
he handled the
absolutely, and it's
spins.
only up from here. You know, a few tweaks. You get on the court with him there, Jerry. Little volley positioning. All right, our producer Kelly's getting ready to switch us over to
we can switch straight
the
over.
other match,
No
and we're
commercial.
right here,
All right.
Jerry.
Thank you, Brad. I'm going to slide over, and Mark Fisher's going to come in.
Perfect, Jerry.
Going to pick up the match. Timo's going to bring us up to date with the score.
Okay. Boris Stojsavljevic wins the first set 7-5.
All right, welcome back to the Philadelphia Open, where we are bringing you to the Bredberg and Lefebvre match against Burish and Stojisavljevic. And Burish and Stojisavljevic won the first set 7-5. But first, Mark, and joining me now is Mark Fischel in the booth here. We're going to talk a little bit about our sponsors. And Uline. Uline is the leading distributor of shipping, industrial, and packaging materials to businesses throughout North America. They ship over 2.5 million boxes every day, but they are so much more than a box company. More than 32,000 quality products are always in stock and ready to ship. Outstanding customer service means they're here when you need them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Uline, the best selection, products, and people for an unforgettable customer experience. So Mark, welcome back to the booth. Were you out there watching all those matches? Did you get a chance to see any of our Burish and Stojisavljevic match, first set against Bredberg and Lefebvre?
Just a little bit, Brad. I have to say that I was kind of mesmerized by the Arraya Parsons Durant Mitchell match. That was spectacular.
Well, let's take that, for example. Did it surprise you at all how the points were played?
I guess the biggest surprise to me was how finished a product Steve Mitchell is. You could see a couple holes here and there, a couple of bad decisions, but gosh, he's on the court with 3 of the top 8, 9, 7 players in the country, and while he was the weak link, he wasn't the weak link by much.
No, it's like it's a tweak. It's a volley position here, a movement there, a decision there.
An inside-out forehand he tried in that epic game with Parsons serving 4-3. Deuce missed one wide, so you could kind of see it.
Now there are a couple of things too. You know, Randt also helps you out at the net a little bit. There were a couple of times he gets cut off, but that's all teamwork stuff. And he's got a huge forehand. He's, you know, yeah, he's ready to play.
The other thing that occurred to me watching that match as a paddle geek, I got to say, thank goodness for Johan Durant. He is so much fun to watch. He has changed our game so much for the better. He's just so explosive, and he has a combination of touch and power and speed that's virtually unparalleled.
It kind of is, you know. It's always just been the choices, the demons here and there about how do you contain all that talent, use it at the perfect time every time, right? You know, and whenever you're going to do something, you are taking a risk of some degree. You could miss, so it's a hard thing, you know.
He played a heck of a match.
He was great, and at times he showed you that explosiveness. He was a great partner with his, you know, with Mitchell. And well, here we go. We're bringing you back on now for so that. Let's just get our players here on the court for you. In the near court here, Sebastian Bredberg in the black outfit with the sort of yellowish sneakers, hitting that lob, and his partner Nathan Lefebvre to his left. And on the far side is Sven Burish, you know, with the blue T-shirt, and his partner Roman Stojisavljevic in the all black, the lefty over there. So
there's a vintage Sebastian Bredberg point running all over the place.
And he actually managed to bang into the screen and knock the umpire's water bottle off the chair. Yeah, so they're putting it down. Nope, they're going to give it right back up.
I don't know
umpires need water too.
I don't know if he's the fastest player on tour, but not too many faster.
Than Bredberg?
Holding up for dear.
Yeah, he could track him down for sure, and he'll use that speed to make blitzes and forays at the net. So
Lefebvre's also very quick. I think that Lefebvre's issue throughout his career has been his shot selection at times.
And he goes in streaks, like from playing beautifully to, yeah, just some error-ridden times.
And that's just not a winning strategy.
How do you see that and say that's a good option?
Yeah.
15
you know, he's going to hit a topspin angle roller just on the outside corner. I mean, if that's one of the selections that happened in that first set, I have to imagine that's the reason why they were down 7-5, but we got to see more here. Now let's take a little and talk about our players out there. So what do you know of Roman Stojisavljevic, the server?
Boy, speaking of talent, it just oozes off of him. I think he generates as much spin as anybody in the game.
30
A lot of lefty spin.
His serve gives players fits. I mean, you see more misses off his serve than virtually any player in the country.
He can hit that heavy and it goes right into the wire. Smart play is to do it as Bredberg did there. He's got great spin, good quickness to the net. You know, like a lot of these players with a lot of talent. Choices, what ball to drive, when to move forward.
Yeah, he's definitely an unfinished product. You always feel like with his overhead, if he doesn't draw an error from you, he's going to miss the fourth or the fifth overhead.
And even that one there, that's a lot of spin, but it's almost too much. You got to hit that as a lower cut so it doesn't fly off the screen to Bredberg either. And what about his partner Sven Burish up at the net in the blue shirt?
Misses that serve. Well,
yeah.
You should know Sven as well as anybody. He was your assistant. Sven's got a great backhand. He volleys really well. Terrific serve and overhead. Big question with Sven is the forehand.
Yeah, it's been the kind of thing where they were the number 10 team last year in the country, and at crucial moments or at big times, people would try to just push it there, and we'd see if you could hit that forehand.
Bait him.
And bait him into it. So I think that is kind of the question at this point in time. You know, and if can these guys gel the team, eliminate one or two errors, make the right choices, and then just shore up that middle of the court there. But they have a little bit of everything. It's a good team.
Now, Bredberg is clearly the captain of this team, and he likes playing slowly. And you'll see if Lefevre is making some bad decisions, Sebi will say something to him. Great overhead there from Stojisavljevic. So it's 1-love.
15.
Love 15.
Bredberg Lefevre, second set. They lost the first set 7-5.
Oh. I mean,
Love 30.
Is that a sun miss, Mark?
Rare volley area from Bredberg.
It wasn't a strong return either, but so love 30. Yeah, well, you see you don't have a score out there because this is not our featured court here, but some great bonus action here. So love 30. 1-love, Bredberg and Lefevre on the far side there.
Great hands from Stojisavljevic.
So we talked a second about Stojisavljevic and Burish. Let's talk a second about Bredberg and Lefevre.
You see them switching back to their normal sides. Sebastian Bredberg spent the last 5-6 seasons playing with Martin Bostrom. We're consistently 5, 6, 7 in the country, banging on the door. There's another questionable decision as we talked about. Just a rock solid player, moves around the court really well, volleys really well, really smart. I think one of the smartest players on tour.
He's got some interesting things. You see stays way off the net, which is an unusual position for most people. He'll volley if he can, but he loves to let it go through and track it down. That was a loose game there from Lefevre.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to make a volley from behind the service line. Is he coming in? Is he staying back?
And it was smart recognition to hit the roller at his feet, but
when someone's standing behind the service line, there's not much recognition to be had.
So this is another one of our new teams, Bredberg and Lefevre this year.
Yeah, we'll see how long they're a new team.
Yeah, there's a lot of matchups this year. If you had to have a knock on Lefevre, it would be, decision making, which we've seen already in the first game. And then the knock, I say, if you had to say it on Bredberg, he is smart. He doesn't hit that many bad choice shots, but he doesn't have a killer weapon, a big forehand or a big backhand or anything that hurts you.
Yeah, that's unquestionably true. You talk about all the guys, what's your favorite shot? And Bredberg's favorite shot's probably his volley.
Right. Well, he did say that in his interview with Timo. Not to give anything away, and you got to check out those interviews with Timo and the top players. But he doesn't thump it at you, from anywhere on the court.
Good to see George Wilkinson back in the tournament.
See a little positioning error there. You're going to have to work that over. George Wilson, a very sedate outfit in grays. A little disappointing, George, who's visiting us here at the booth.
We had chatted earlier about which player has the ugliest clothes on tour, and it was like, besides George Wilkinson, you mean?
He's already won. He's number one in the game. The best at clothes. See?
There's a good rip from Lefevre. And it's such a fine line for Lefevre to walk because he's got to bring some offense. It's been a strange dynamic on the court right now, Brad.
Well, see, that's the thing. You know, you can push the ball to Bredberg really a long time, all day. He won't miss, but he's not going to kill you. Can't really just push it at Lefevre, which I'm not sure why Stoyasovljevic just did that. I think Budish was surprised when he did it, and he should have just let the volley go through and ran down and got it off the back screen. But he just reached out because he was stunned by it.
What do you think is the next big hurdle for Burish and Stoyasovljevic to make to really get in with the big boys and be a potential semifinalist at Nationals?
You know, tightening up choices and then their ability to play the big points better, not just conservatively or crazy. So, you know, for Stoyasovljevic, I think it's almost different things. You know, I think it's teamwork, a lot of it.
40-30.
You know, Stoyasovljevic taking the right ball at the right time. He's got incredible talent. He drives it off both wings. For Burish, it's developing confidence in that forehand. I think a lot of it's mental. He doesn't have a bad stroke. And to be able to play the big points, because they played everybody tough last year, but they weren't immune to having kind of a bad loss. I don't want to say bad loss, but you know, some of the top teams, they always take care of business. Whereas
Lefevre misses the forehand wide, 2-1. The other issue I wonder about them a little bit, Brad, is they have a big brother, little brother thing going on out there.
Yeah, the team dynamic.
Yeah, which I don't think is healthy. I think too much you see Burish kind of rolling his eyes at Stoyasovljevic. I know he's aware of it. I think he's tried hard to work on it and be better. But it's the sort of thing that tends to come out at the exact moment you don't want to see it.
Both players are from Croatia originally. Yeah. Here in the States now.
I gave it to you, sir.
And they grew up in a large part together.
Okay, Bredberg to serve, 1-2, second set. That was not a good changeover for Bredberg and Lefevre.
But there you see the incredible talent of
15 love.
You know, Lefevre there. He hits that half volley dink winner, and he made that one. But will he make the next two? That's the question, right? Or will it be the right call?
15 all.
Lefevre gets pegged by the Burish backhand, kind of indecisive.
All right, so 15 all. Going for a little dink
30,
drive.
15.
There's that Budish big backhand.
I got to say, Brad, that after the tempo of the last match, this one is just much, much slower.
That's good spin there. It's an interesting thing here. You're not seeing a lot of that transition or that desire to make the point go faster, to make it move in transition. You got two players back, two players up, more of a traditional style.
I think the sun is less of a factor. It's still an issue, but it was really bad early in the first set.
Good ball to crease.
But Bredberg read that one beautifully and misses it long. Really get the feeling the match is swinging quickly towards Burish and Stoyasovljevic.
Oh, the pen, sorry.
All right, 30 all. Not sure what that was.
Yeah.
I think Burish wasn't ready and
Reserve.
Didn't play the serve, so we're going to do it over.
And that's a great lesson. If you're returning and you're not ready, catch the ball.
Oh, smart play there by Bredberg. Amazing.
Well, that lob volley changed the tenor of the entire point.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's a shot that more players need to use anytime. It's a great, example to. If you do not have the advantage, no matter where you are, lob the ball up and get in position.
Lefevre's a long way off the net, Brad. Are you surprised by that?
No, both, Lefevre and, Redbird play a little more off the net, trust in their hands a little bit. Makes them a little immune to some moves you can make, but that's how they like to do it. That's a great ball.
Wide.
Great roller there by Redbird.
Redberg's got a terrific roller.
Yep. And he hits it to both sides really well.
There's that lefty-righty issue.
Yeah,
and this part of the team dynamic, right? They had you would expect them to talk a little bit after that, possibly.
Yep. And that'll happen from time to time, but switch. Like that overhead. Good change.
Oh, Redberg read that perfectly.
Did read it. And I actually think Stojsavljevic held up a little. He didn't hit as hard down, and I think that didn't get it quite as high as Redberg wanted. And smart play to back it up there from Stojsavljevic. Budish making a quick move to the net there. He will look to blitz from time to time. Yeah. See, I call that just giving up the net. Right? He's ready to go back.
Take a hard crack at the nick. It's not there. Just bail out. Start again.
Yeah, I wonder if the thought process is the sun. Like I said, it's not quite as bad right now.
They're also on the non-sunny side.
Nicely done. Quick pace there from Nathan Lefevre. And some tight moments in here.
15-30. Look at that serve from Stojsavljevic.
Heck of a serve. Like you said, generates a ton of spin. And another tough serve.
So Brad, I know we've chatted about this previously, but why does it seem like lefties get so much more spin in the ball than righties? Any concepts, any ideas?
I'm not sure, but I have to think it's a myth because I just watched Arraya play, but I think it's just the angle people are used to playing at, but Stojsavljevic certainly gets a ton, and I think it's just, but you're right. We saw it with John Hughes last year. An integral part of them winning the Nationals was his ability to hit cut overheads right into the back screen, have them fly over to the side screen, putting the backcourt player in a tough position.
Drew Broderick.
Yep.
Seems like lots of lefties get a lot of spin in the ball as opposed to righties. Big miss there from Redberg.
Yeah. This match is definitely a feeling out match. A lot of three-quarter drives. Nobody really going for a big one.
I always felt like Lefevre his game didn't match up with his talent. But there was a lot of upside.
Well, what would you think would be the cause of that?
At the end of the day, it seems to always come down to decision making and intelligence on the court. There's no physical skills that he lacks.
Right.
Quick, great hands, big forehand, good serve, pretty good overhead, but just hasn't had the results that I had envisioned for him when I first saw him play.
Now you can clearly see Stoisavljevic moving to the middle to try and take a little bit out of the play, get some of those balls, because we talked about the Burush having a great backhand, but less of the big forehand. Nice anticipation.
And that's what Bredberg loves to do, hit that drop shot.
Now you see the pace of this match compared to the pace of the others. There's not a lot of transition. He's playing at a slow, even pace.
Yeah, that's a bad decision right there. Burush was moving hard to his right and should have just hit a reset overhead, started the point again. So they lead 3-2 second set. That was a big changeover for him. Viking Athletics is the premier brand and undisputed leader in platform tennis. Viking is platform tennis. The Viking Extra Duty platform ball has been the #1 selling ball in the industry for the last 20 years. It's the official ball of the APTA, the APTA Nationals and President's Cup, and of course of the APTA Grand Prix Tour. So Brad, I think we're going to stay with this match until a little after 6 o'clock, and then we're going to switch over to our next match, which is Anderson Erdoya versus Chervinsky McNerney.
Really looking forward to that one. Anderson's not a household name, but he will be very soon. You know, got a ton of talent, can hit it off both wings. And same with actually all the players on the court. There's a lot of offense, attacking overheads out there.
Okay, Lefevre serving 3-2. And those are the types of errors that we talked about.
15.
Yeah, the last service game after the break before, he handed it right back.
Game. Yeah.
You know, not that you got to see a fist pump every now and then too, but there's not always urgency, you know, out there. Everybody's different in the way they learn to compete. Ooh. All right. Gets away with it.
It was interesting watching the Durant-Mitchell match, how few points were given away. It seemed like virtually every point was won for the last half hour, 40 minutes of that match.
Yep.
And here we have miss lob, fault, miss spike overhead to love 40.
Nice ball there. Oh, under the net, backhand drive, and I guess we've seen Arraya try it a few times, but just not that advisable. And at love 40, you'd think you'd want to play. I guess you could say, well, if I make this one, I got a shot in the game, but you know. Not sure I understand it. I've seen a lot of breaks. And I find that sometimes in these matches, you know, no team's playing with like, it's more a question of trying to outlast the errors than making something happen or having a specific plan.
Yeah, I see no plan from either team here. They're just kind of hitting a lot of,
you know, they're all good at
drives.
Not, you know, hitting a shot that their opponents can't attack that well. And they're continuing to do it, you know, which is fine. It's sort of a war of attrition versus a plan of attack. Now, it could be war of attrition is your plan, but sometimes when a match gets in this feel, it feels almost like it's a coin flip, you know.
And it's interesting that watching those drives from Lefevre, they were all at the wrong hip. They were aiming at the right hip of the lefty when you want to hit at the left hip. I mean, I'd like to see him hit more balls up that center stripe with the forehands in the middle, which is obviously the one weakness.
That's a heck of an overhead there. A little fist pump from Stoisavljevic. Great cutter.
Oh, correction, 15 left.
All right, first point.
Umpire was a little confused by the score there.
Not easy to concentrate all the time up there. He's got the sun directly in his face. I tell you though, what a stunning day, Mark.
Beautiful.
There we go. Great dig there from Bredberg.
I feel like whichever team can eliminate the careless errors first,
right,
gonna win.
Well, we were talking about this before, Jerry and I. You know, when we were in the other match, the Arraya, Parsons, Randt, Mitchell match, and we were remarking because our intrepid reporter and court reporter out there, Timo, you know, would come give us the scores, and he'd be 20 minutes would pass, and he would go, all right, it was 2-2, and then he'd come back 20 minutes later, it would be 3-2. So we knew the points were long. We knew the points were going in a drawn-out fashion. So this has been the course of that match and must have been in the first set as well. These guys are just going to battle, and whoever just makes either the shot at the right time or the best decisions is going to take this one down, because we're not seeing any damage getting done. We're just seeing a lot of great use of hitting overheads that your opponent can't attack. And there's the one miss, and you know the wild card might be
15
Nathan Lefevre out there, because he's the one more apt to go for the shot. In the past I would have said Stojsavljevic, but I think he's working on making that less of an issue, making the wrong choice.
Although that forehand error was kind of an indecisive swing. There's no real commitment to it. You hate seeing errors on shots that aren't going to either force an error or take over the net.
Oh, good eye there from Stojsavljevic.
40-15.
And he raced back to make sure that if it was in, he could still get it. And there's 2 forehand errors. So like you said, it's the war of attrition, but then somebody's taking the shot. And right now, 2 misses there. All right, so Budish and Stojsavljevic march it along. Good hold there. Now as they're crossing in here, you know, Budish and Stojsavljevic, I think, you know, they're content to stay with their plan. It looks that way to me. You know, they're going to keep dumping the ball, try to play good position, elicit a loose error. And I know Bredberg is content with that type of play too. The question is
Lefevre.
Yeah. Listed wide. A few faults that we've seen today here.
The Randt-Mitchell match was exceptionally well served, I thought, on top of everything else.
You know, to think about it, I don't remember even seeing barely a fault, if any. You know, it didn't occur to me at the time, but wow, we're quickly to love 40 here. 2 faults and a missed volley.
5 points from the match.
Stojsavljevic, steady dive to these slow rollers that he's popping in there, getting the ball to dip down. Same thing there from Budish.
Wow. That was shocking.
That was a shocking 25-second game.
5 games to 3.
And 25 seconds might be generous. All right, serving for the match now is Stojsavljevic. Well, it was all or nothing blitz there.
Does Bredberg have 6 o'clock dinner reservations?
Yeah, it's 5:59 and change. He's got 30 seconds.
He just missed, he's one of the steadiest players on tour, and he just missed 5 shots in less than a minute?
Yep. I'll see if they tighten it up.
You might expect that from Martin Bostrom. You wouldn't expect that from Sebastian Bredberg.
You know, it's an interesting theme. Some of these misses.
30 love.
Yeah, that's shocking. You wonder if, though, the 2 misses that Nathan Lefevre had in the last game affected Bredberg at all. Meaning, like, well, he's missing, I'm going to miss. You know, not that I'm going to miss, but all of a sudden you loosen up. You know, my partner's a little loose, I'm loose now. You got to play in concert and together.
There's a good forehand from Lefevre.
Great forehand. No, like you said, the skills are all there. He's a great player. As a Bursch backhand. He looks for that shot.
Interesting, that was a ball he really could have swung at but didn't.
You know, they're content to hit the drive 3/4 and make the guys volley, which is, you know, not bad paddle. Make the guy volley from under the net, elicit a weaker ball, and go for it later on.
$40 love.
Triple match point.
Here we go, and now what a strange turn of events from 3-all. He's just going to go for it, and he calls it out, and there it is. It's almost as if they couldn't get it over quick, or maybe he does have reservations. You might have hit the nail on the head there, Mark.
Thank you, guys.
Almost like he got broken mentally. Maybe he was frustrated with Lefevre, as you pointed out, but just kind of checked out the last 2 games.
Strange turn of events there.
Okay, we'll be right back with another quarterfinal in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA Network, presented by eNet Live.